This is the best-selling do-it-yourself solution for permanent holiday lights. This is the newest craze. Stay off the ladder, stay safe, keep your lights up all year long. You can use them for multiple holidays, not just Christmas. And Govee created a kit that is just so user-friendly that it is available to the masses and anybody can do it. And it's really a good kit, but they actually made a good kit even better. This is the Govee Permanent Holiday Lights Pro. I'm going to unbox the two of these, show you the difference between them, and let you know my thoughts coming up. This is an unsponsored video that contains products provided without charge by the manufacturer for demonstration purposes. All opinions are my own. On the left, we have the original permanent outdoor lights, and on the right is the Outdoor Lights Pro. And just comparing the boxes, you can see a lot of the differences in the features. First, you can see the difference in the brightness. The Pros are supposedly much brighter. In fact, they put 3,000 lumens here for the 100-foot strip. In addition, the original ones only came in white. This one you can see says it's the black version. Yes, that's right. The Pro comes in either white or black. They've also changed the style of the puck a little bit. This one is a little squarer, this one's a little bit rounder, and the lens is bigger on this. And once I open it up, you'll see why. The other thing is a little hard to see, but over here you can see the wires are flat with 3 wires next to each other. This one has a new wire design that is much more trim and slim and less visible. As far as home automation, you can see the old one works with Google Home and Alexa, but the new one works with the same, plus it adds Matter support. And the final difference you can see here is mentioned as 2700K to 6500K, and that is actually the white color. You can go from warm white to natural or daylight here, and that is because the design of these pucks now include white LED emitters, whereas over here they were just RGB, and RGB creates white by adding all 3 colors, whereas this one has separate white LEDs in it. So if you want to use this for security illumination or something like that, you just want accent lighting during the year, you can put on a nice warm white, and I will show you that too. All right, I'm going to put the originals aside for the moment, and let's just dive into the Pro. All right, the first thing you see here is the quick start guide, which is included in both kits, but there are some differences that are highlighted in the Pro. All right, the big boxes in the kit are the light strings themselves, and you can see they all have these nice connectors on them so that they can be strung together without any splicing. That is one of the best features of the Govee kits, is that they are DIY friendly. You don't need a soldering iron. You don't even need a wire cutter. And here is the accessory box. And this is where the differences really matter. First and foremost, you can see everything is black. The strings, the power supply, even the controller is black as well. Another feature that they've added to the Pro kit is, in addition to one extension, like in the original one, they've added 2 shorter extensions. And these are going to be really helpful when you want to jump from one window to another and you don't want lights in between them. That's where something like this comes in very handy. They have the same kind of mounting hardware. The clips are also black in this case. They come with little screws. That is for additional mounting, in addition to the backs of the pucks that have the same 3M adhesive. They give you these clips that you can physically attach the wires just in case something comes loose on the adhesive. Now this is a huge difference with the Pro kit. What these are, is this a splicing kit. So if you have to, let's say for example you put these on a roof line that only needs, I don't know, half of the string, and you want to continue the other half someplace else. You couldn't do that with the old one. But with this one, you can actually splice it without having to do any soldering. These are waterproof connectors, and you can see here they are snap fit. And that way you can cut into one of these strings and put an extension in between the two if you need to, and let it go however far you need it. It's really going to be a useful thing for a lot of people, because in the past, the only way you could do anything, if you wanted to splice it, you had to cut the wires and solder them. So these things make it much easier for DIY. All right, here I put the old ones next to the Pro version. So the original has this flat white wire, and it only comes in white. The Pro version, you can see, has a unified wire, one single wire that has the 3 wires contained within it. Now, that comes in either black or white. So anytime you have a darker trim, the white ones would stand out really badly. So the black one opens up a whole nother set of options for people who have a dark gray or a black trim. So these things will be basically invisible. So one of the other things that you'll notice is the size is a little bit different. Now here, the old ones are just about 30 millimeters. The new ones are a little bit bigger, 34 millimeters. And you can see these are a little bit more square, whereas the new ones are a little bit more rounded. The other thing you can see is the difference between the two sets of LEDs inside there. The original has a single RGB LED inside underneath that lens. The new one has the same RGB underneath the lens, but it also is surrounded by 6 white LEDs. Some of them are, 3 of them I think are daylight, and 3 of them are warm white. So you can mix white colors without using the RGB at all. On the original, you could only use the RGB LED to make white light, whereas this one, you can mix the white light just from those special white LEDs. So that's one of the reasons why it's bigger, because it actually has more LEDs. One of the other things you may notice here is that the spacing on the original one is about 16.5 inches, whereas the new one, the spacing is about 19 3/4. Now, what that means, the strings are exactly the same size. On the old string, you get 12 lights. On the new string, you only get 10. So because these are brighter than the old ones, they don't have to be as close together. Now, one nice thing is you can see with the bigger puck, they also had more surface area to put a bigger adhesive on the back than on the old one. All right, I put both power supplies and controllers next to each other, and they are physically identical. The power supplies look physically the same. However, when you turn them over, they are both 36 volts, but the original is 2 amps. The Pro version is 3 amps. And that's because the Pro version actually supports 200 feet of continuous lights. So you can put more strings on the Pro version than you can on the original version. Another slight difference is the plug coming out of the power adapter. On the original, it has 3 little prongs there, and the other one, the Pro version, has just a barrel connector there. I have them both set up here on full brightness red, and one thing that I can tell is that the original version is a clear lens, whereas the Pro version is a bit of a translucent lens. It's not exactly clear. So I'm wondering, I'll see when it gets dark, how these two actually look different on the house. I'm just going to show you the different colors, and you can try and judge with the camera to see which one is brighter. They're full brightness on both of them. That's red, that's green, that's blue. All right, now I'm going to go into the app on both of them, and let's go to white. All right, this is white, and the brightness is 1%. It's actually a green, red, and blue LED, all in that one single chip right there. And that's how it makes white. And of course, if I turn the brightness all the way up, you can't tell the difference at all. But let's call that a simulated white. It's not really white. And here's the Pro version. That's red, green, and blue. But now, when I make it white, look what happens. It actually has 3 separate LEDs. And if I change the color, there you can see that's warm white, and the other LEDs are lit then. And as I mix it, you can see they actually change. So it's not using the RGB chip at all. I turned the brightness control down on the phone, and the left 4 are the Pro version, and the right 5 are the original version. And I don't see any real difference in the brightness, other than the fact that there's 5 lights on the right side, and they seem to be closer together, obviously, than the left side. And this is the green, again turned down, so that it doesn't oversaturate. And again, I don't really see any difference. Now this is blue, and I don't know if you could tell it, but there is a slight tint difference. That the original version is kind of more of a brighter blue than the Pro version on the left. It's subtle, and you could only tell if it was side by side like this. But for the most part, they seem to be about the same brightness. Okay, now here is where things get interesting. The original version just has a color called white, and it produces that with just the RGB LEDs. On the left side, it has independent LEDs that are just for the cool white. This is the cool white, okay? And so those are supposed to be approximately the same, but you can really see the difference here. Now again, if you weren't looking at them side by side, it might not be that big of a deal. But now the difference really shows up. This is the warm white. The Pro has a warm white setting. Well, actually, you can mix it to any color of white between the warm white and the cool white. So you could match your existing landscape lighting or anything you needed to do. But you can definitely see the difference here. And I really do like the warm white. But does that make it worth it? I don't know. Let's do a little test of this connector and see how we actually go about splicing a wire. Now this is one of the short extensions, but it's the same wire that would be on the string. I'm just not going to cut the string for no reason. Now you can see the 3 wires really good. I love these things. Let's see, this side is female. So you always want to match, that's female, so we're not going to use that one, we're going to use this one, this is the male. So you always want the one side, one end is going to be the female, the other side is going to be the male. So this would get connected this way. All right, that's going to go on here, so we don't forget it. And this is the little waterproof grommet. That goes on, and the wire goes right through that. And that fits pretty snug, but you know, certainly loose enough to work with it. All right, the quick reference card says you only need to expose about 11 to 14 millimeters of the wire. I don't know if you can tell this, but the yellow wire must be the signal wire because it is much thinner than the red or the blue wires. I've got them twisted. I'm going to put the blue one on first, and then the yellow, and then the red. All right, they're all connected, and there's a good waterproof seal in there. And then this little guy goes in the end. And then this cap comes on. And as you tighten this down, it squeezes this rubber gasket here around that wire. So it is perfectly made for this wire. And that holds it nice and tight, and it is now waterproof, and now I've got basically I don't know, a 2-foot extension if I needed it. But anyway, that's exactly the process that I would use for the other one. The other one just happens to be the female end. And you could use these exactly the same way if you were cutting the lights. So what do you think? Original version versus the Pro version. Did they add good features that you think you'll take the plunge and actually buy these things and put them up on your house? Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next one. Hey there, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be the first to know when new videos are posted. Look for HandyDadTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit the website HandyDadTV for more great ideas and information.